So I've just checked out the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie directed by Jon Favreau, and what I have to say is, heesh, like I think that's the reaction that definitely got out of me. As in eesh, after you. As in, I feel like this is just somewhat of a weird retread of what we know already about the franchise as of late. And this is not exactly the best looking franchise as of now, just because even though the first two seasons were excellent, the third season of Mandalorian got me asking where's this going? And this is the sentiment I definitely got from this movie, as in where's this going? Like, it had a pretty interesting first third of the movie where it's pretty much the Mandalorian has a job to retrieve Rosetta Hart being betrayed by Jeremy Allen White, who's famous from The Bear, the Springsteen movie, and the Iron Claw. Okay, interesting stuff. I can get it from there. Then the movie, around when that act, then it just feels a lot more convoluted, and it feels like it just bogs it down with unnecessary stuff. In my opinion, where's this all going? What's the purpose of this? I feel like the movie just rambles onto itself. Oh, need to cross the road. Thank you. The movie is just just feels like it's just rambling onto itself. As in, it's okay, there comes a point where you feel where's this going? And it's also the movie feels really disjointed as well. I feel like it at best is a bunch of episodes randomly duct taped to each other, but very very crudely. Yeah, cross the road again. If it doesn't feel that coherent as well. If you like to binge watch a bunch of Mandalorian episodes, it feels somewhat cohesive. It feels easy to get along with. The movie just drags on for a very long amount of time. Then the movie just pauses for again a really awkward amount of time. The pacing in this movie is just really awkward in my opinion. And also the colouring work is just not pleasing to look at. Again, particularly this is based off a streaming show, and the streaming stereotype is that it's colourless, it's not really nice to look at, and it's just pretty ugly. With the exception of the first season, which is again really beautifully shot, but but for this one, it's just really ugly to look at. It's almost brown, almost like beef colouring in a little bit. As in, it's very dirty looking, which is again not particularly pleasing to the eye, which is a shame because I really did like the cinematography in the first film. I'm not going to completely smack talk this film as far, as in again Pedro Pascal, it does do a really good job in this movie, and Jeremy Allen White is definitely somewhat of an interesting character, where he pretty much wants to go after his father's shadow in a little bit and want to claim his name as a fighter, but again, this is somewhat of a really incoherent movie. Again, I don't want to completely smack talk this movie to oblivion, but again, there are some definitely good points in this movie. There's a little bit in the movie where Grogu takes care of the Mandalorian when he's pretty much out and injured and pretty much out for days on end. And so he had to make him a little heart and also get food and drinks and also explore the wilderness while keeping a watchful eye for any droids and soldiers that are looking out for him, which is again a pretty interesting subplot in my opinion, which shows Grogu's growing sense of independence while having the Mandalorian completely absent, which again is a pretty interesting idea. Which I wish, like in the series, this could be its own episode, but this is a problem. This feels like a bunch of episodes that almost glued into each other very incoherently, and just feels like a mishmash and just a fruit punch with one too many ingredients in my opinion. Even though I do like a lot of Jon Favreau movies, Iron Man is also good, and Elf, and even some more underrated stuff like Zahura, but he also made crap like the Lion King remake, which comes off a $200 million student project. But don't damn on this one. He did rub off the stink of the Lion King by again making the Mandalorian series. But my camera's being a bit weird with the mounting system. But the one problem I just have with this movie, it just feels like a movie with one too many ideas and just never really explores them in a coherent way.
like for Elf, it's about an elf who goes to the big city to find his estranged dad. Simple idea. Iron Man is about a war profiteer who goes against war and fights for the people. Okay, seems interesting. Zahora, Jumanji in space. Okay, good off concept. Lion King, same movie but live action. But for The Mandalorian and Grogu, it's just I don't know what the story is about, to be honest. Like, it's about a bounty hunter and his apprentice, and uh, the Hearts are wanting Jota, their brother, for some reason. Again, it's just I feel like this movie is just a mishmash of ideas, and none of them, and they all try to cancel each other. And again, just I think this is one of the weakest Star Wars movies, in my opinion. Like, I think the joint weakest is a lot more. Of my weakest films of the Star Wars stuff is definitely Attack on Clones. Again, the movie for The Mandalorian Grogu, if this is meant to be a finale, this is more akin to like Stranger Things or Game of Thrones, where it just comes off as very incoherent and just becomes like things just thrown together for good measure. Like what was the goal in this movie? Like, what we've learned? Have we learned anything about anything new about the Mandalorian or anything new about Grogu? And where are the other Mandalorians? And again, they didn't even give Carl Weathers' character any mention, since unfortunately he passed away and his character was unfortunately absent. Like, this movie just feels rushed and hurried, in my opinion. Like, at what point do you have to say, wait, what's going on in this movie? Like, it just feels just rambling. Again, I'm just not really that impressed by it. And the movie visually is just so muddy and just really unpolished. Like, just not really pleasing to look at. Like, again, the final action scene, it just feels like a really one-sided affair, as in like, oh, okay, they got it, they got it. So, and the enemy doesn't really put up that much of a fight, so, well, okay, like, let's go! Oh, okay, they got it, okay. Like, a really one-sided fight at best. As in, for The Mandalorian Grogu, the story is just so over the place and just feels like a bunch of draft ideas that never seem to fold into each other. The movie visually just looks really ugly and unpleasant to look at. And we just never see anything new come out of The Mandalorian or Grogu. And it feels like just a bunch of rambling ideas that just never coherently link together. And they just come off as really disjointed at best. So, for The Mandalorian Grogu, I'm feeling a 5 out of 10 on this one. So, here's that. So, what do you think of The Mandalorian Grogu? Let me know in the comments below, subscribe to my channel, and also like this video. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and Letterboxd to dislike walls. And bye!